Today we look at a T-side default that turns into a delicately orchestrated B crush from Cloud9. Our topic of discussion will be abusing the man advantage with map control. I'm Launders and this is episode 3 of Playbreakers. This is round 19 from the group stage of the PGL Major where Cloud9 beat North on Mirage with a stellar T-side despite losing both pistols. In this round we'll look at how Cloud9 set up after Stewie finds 2 kills early on, followed by the adjustment that North makes with MSL's information, and finally why Cloud9 sealed this up even though North made a smart adjustment having had only 3 players to work with. So to set the stage, mid default from Cloud9 and nothing special from North. Nothing here throws a smoke before they walk underpass in order to cause a distraction and limit North's line of sight at B. We know that smokes into B can be used to lure cap players back into the site. In this case it didn't seem to have an effect, but maybe it would have if Magisk was more aggressive in the first place. Once Stewie gets into connector, he's faced with one of the strongest crossfires of any map, between Ticket and Cat. They don't smoke connector with the hope that a CT might walk into his fight a little bit unprepared and are rewarded. It's common on T-side to look for fights that are even as close as 50-50, as T's can stay grouped with the bomb and pick a site together, but CTs have to fan out across the map, making each individual more valuable. So at this moment, if they have 2 kills and are set up for an A split, why not just hit the site? The reason they don't is because Stewie got one of those kills on Cat. If it was their intention to hit B, they would have. A, however, can have up to 3 players with 1 more on flex, meaning that rushing in could have jeopardized their advantage completely. With all this in mind and their newfound connector control, nothing becomes the most important player on the map for C9. Because Stewie killed their stairs player, nothing now knows he can advance quickly and maybe even catch an extra player off guard. When nobody peeks, he works his way into window, which we'll later see puts a neat bow on the round. Also, although it isn't relevant to this round because Cajun was too wise, one subtle advantage of Nothing's position here is being able to hear players rotating. Typically you don't walk through CT when going from A to B, and so even just waiting in this position can tell your team a lot, especially if they throw smokes to bait rotates. At this moment, North have made a very interesting adjustment in response to going down 2 players early on. MSL began it under balcony and moved towards close A ramp, but when Stewie killed his jungle player, he felt unsafe about the prospect of an A split, and so pushes into A ramp and holds for control. He hears Skadoodle drop and a few seconds later tells Cajun B to rotate. It looks like that he assumed if this A-ramp player had made noise and nobody has pushed connector, even though there were 2 of them right there, they may have made other plans. In a round where they still had 5 alive, a drastic rotation like this might not have been called, but it ends up being a smart move. Cajun B walks past the back of window and watches it with conviction from market. Now we can really see the impact of having a man advantage, and how even though MSL has gotten some info, it's not enough to save the round. C9 with mid control get automatic in the ladder room, Nothing ready for a window flank, and Shroud to basically bait any last attention that he can to A, doing his job whether he gets the kill or not. The frags at this point aren't all that important. Even with 2 players here expecting B, the bomb is safely escorted through B halls and neither splitting player pushes their choke point a moment too soon. Nothing and automatic both activate themselves once Stewie and Skadoodle are spotted, giving Config and Cajun too much to worry about to be able to justify covering alternate choke points. Simple stuff, but regularly messed up when pro teams aren't communicating at a really high level. As the IGL for Cloud9, I'm assuming Stewie deserves a lot of credit for this round. The farther away from your teammates you are, the more difficult it is to keep each player in line with the bigger picture. The key to a round like this working is nobody overextending, gaining more ground safely, and finally timing your pushes at the perfect moments. This round is an ideal example of why having map control is constantly stressed by pro players in interviews, even though your average player doesn't really know what that means or looks like. A big lesson from this round is that 5v3s are lost when individuals overextend because they lose sight of the bigger picture. This is what it looks like to be 5 points on a web, even when you're each individually juggling threats across the map. Thanks for watching, liking, and sharing the video, and shout out to everybody who's bought a shirt.